Hi, how are you? We're gonna do the nature of power, and this is really just the basics of what power is. You can see that this is 1.0 of your textbook, and we've already kind of gone through 1.2. I did the political philosophy in the middle of the week, and I wanted to kind of save this as a review for Friday, plus there was an activity that I kind of wanted you to do. So we'll just kind of go through some of this kind of quickly. Again, this is the syllabus. This is everything that you should know. We got through yesterday all the way through individual, collective, and unilateral and multilateral. So if there's a problem with any of those things, please talk to me and let's make sure you have it. We're going to just define power one more time, which is kind of this. So if you look at these two quotes, and the one, is Mao, political power grows out of the barrel of a gun, versus Gandhi, political power means the capacity to regulate national life through national representation. It's hard power versus soft power. So you should be kind of getting a real handle on that. Yesterday we spoke a lot about, can we solve China, the problem with increasing China with hard power, and I'm not sure we can. So we'll keep. All right. So this is the definition, right? So if you can get what power is, and it's the ability to control the behavior of people, power is considered legitimate and may be referred to as authority. Power exists in all social relationships between you and human beings. And we've talked about power within your family and power within school, but we're in this class really looking at political power and how do countries negotiate with each other in a power setting, and how do countries negotiate with their own people in a power setting. Again, this is really just a review. So this is Lincoln. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. So what we're looking at here, again, is the different types of rule. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, the difference between democracies and oligarchies and things that are autocracies, dictatorships. So what is it? How do you have power, and which one is more legitimate or less legitimate? All right. Please watch this clip. It's from Schindler's List, and this is soft power. So Amon Goeth is the Nazi lieutenant who is running this camp. He is shooting people, and Oskar Schindler kind of runs the factory in the camp, and he's talking about how to maintain soft power. So what I want to do in this activity is what makes a country powerful. So if you sit back and you say to yourself, why is the United States powerful? Why is China powerful? Why is Russia powerful? Why is Ireland not powerful? What countries have power? Which countries do not have power? And there's actually some quantifiable ways we can kind of look at this. So this right here is the IMF's GDP per capita. So GDP, which is gross domestic product, if you take the wealth of a nation divided by the population of the nation. So imagine in the United States, you take all the people, there's 325 million people. So you take Oprah and me and everyone else, and you average the income. The United States, you can see we are 7th in the world, and our average income looks to be about $63,000 on average, which is amazing when you consider, look at the countries above us. All of those have much smaller populations, right? So at 325 million people, we still average that. And yes, not everybody makes that, and Oprah certainly makes a lot more. But that's one way to look at power. And when you look at the difference between the United States and China, yeah, they're very, very wealthy, but their individual citizens do not have the same purchasing power that our citizens have. And that kind of gives us an edge in some ways. When you look down there, now my face is covering up Canada, but Canada only has 34 million people. So yeah, they might have wealth, much like, Luxembourg has wealth, but they don't have the size of a population, a workforce, and aren't like to really exert any of their power. So of this group of countries that you see up here, we really are in an amazing position. Number 11, San Marino, is a teeny tiny little country in the middle of Italy, which has a lot of wealth, but relatively little power. So we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about the difference between a hegemon, so a country that maintains this position in their region of global dominance, and hegemony, which is where you can get all of your population to kind of buy into what your country is trying to do. So you have this almost harmony, hegemony within its population. You have people that all are working toward the same thing. And what makes something a great power or a superpower? So here we go. Ready? Please watch this. I'm not going to play it, but this is hegemons throughout history, starting back with Greece and Rome and Persia and the Byzantine Empire and the crusading nations. So please watch this.